What up, what up? We are back here at UCLA. December 8th, 2021. I think this is my last IRL of the year. So here we go. And I have Riley here waiting in the wings.
Oh, yeah.
Feel free to come on down, Riley. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me back again.
Anytime. I think this is the first time I've had someone waiting, like, while I set up.
Yeah, I'm just that committed to
Ready
this
to
program
go.
at this point.
Yeah. I usually do like a few minutes of intro anyway, so
Yeah,
got some my jazzy theme song
I like
thing.
that. I'm basically a co-host at this point.
Basically, yeah. It's the Riley and Reed show. Doing SE. Yeah.
The Riley Reed Show?
Riley and Reed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Is it finals week here?
Yeah, I feel great now. I just finished a huge final,
Great.
so I feel way less stressed, and I came over here and I'm like, oh, here we go. Let's, stop school and get back to the marketplace of ideas.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being so relieved after big exams.
Yeah, exactly.
So nice. Yeah. There we go. Done. All right. You mentioned you wanted to talk about religion potentially
Yeah.
today?
I think I started thinking about it the other day. Because the thing is like I'm kind of the village atheist.
You're the village atheist.
I'm the village atheist around here. So among all my friends and everybody, they'll occasionally be like, shut up. I'll do something, and they'll be like, hey, shut up, atheist, or something like that. And I agree with a lot of my friends about topics, but that's kind of our main area of disagreement.
Huh.
And I thought about atheism more, and I considered it because I'm talking to this Muslim girl, and she's like, oh, you're an atheist. And basically what I told her is, a question that I've never heard any Muslim ever answer me, which is this: if Allah made us in pairs, why are you still single? And I still haven't heard an answer on that. So, that's one example. Checkmate.
That's a claim Islam makes, that God makes humans in pairs, like soulmates.
Yeah, exactly. Yet she's still single. So, checkmate, Muslims.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
If that was a prediction from the model that a God is real, and that's, but is there everyone has a pair at some point in their life, like not like right when they're born, they're in the hospital, but eventually they have a pair.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it stipulates.
Yeah.
In the Quran.
So, and I think it's safe to say some people never find someone in their life and die single. Yeah,
that's really sad.
Yes. And does that make Islam less likely to be true if that happens?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's already exceedingly improbable that it is true.
Okay.
To begin with, but yeah, that doesn't help it when I think of how likely it is for it to be true.
Yeah, so that's one potential reason against it.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think? I get atheist energy from you.
You get atheist energy.
I do get atheist energy.
That would be accurate.
Okay, yeah. I feel like,
Yeah.
me, I feel like you've spent a bit of time on atheist YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a
Okay.
bit.
Makes sense.
And the Street Epistemology comes from a book originally. It was coined from a book called Manual for Creating Atheists.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been since then broadened out. There's been another book, How to Have Impossible Conversations, so it's more general now.
I see.
And but that's where it started. So that is definitely a thing.
Okay.
And I've had probably 1,000 chats about religion in the past 6 years.
Wow, 1,000. I can't say I've had nearly that many. I've had quite a few. How have that gone? Have you ever changed anybody's mind?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, like what percentage of the time would you say you do?
Maybe if they're 100%, I change their mind probably 10% of the time to go to 99. And if they're anything around like 90 to 100, maybe 20, 30% of the time, they leave with more clarity on why they believe and potential reasons not to believe. So they might shift a little bit. I've never had someone like be here and then end here. That's not really how that works with these kind of beliefs. But many in the street epistemology community have talked with people, and very soon after, they've revised their confidence completely.
I see. What's your approach when you talk to them? Because I find that I'm not really successful, because I don't even know if my intention is to change their mind, and because of that, I don't really care so much now. But in the past, I'd kind of be like a bit of a sardonic atheist, and just be like, ha ha ha, it's so silly.
Yeah, that tends not to.
Yeah, that doesn't work too well.
Yeah, we found the best way is like to not have changing their mind be our top priority. But that may be a secondary goal.
Right.
It shouldn't be our top priority goal, because people can tell if you're trying to manipulate them or persuade them or evangelize. If our main goal is to really genuinely hear them out and collaborate in a way about how we figure out whatever they're believing in is true, and if they have good reasons for it, like if we put ourselves in a frame that's collaborative, then, and it doesn't really matter where we end up, then that lowers people's defenses a lot. And as like a byproduct, people seem to change their confidence from that process.
I see. Do you ever have an experience? Because what I think an effective tactic is not trying to change their mind at that moment in time, but implanting a seed in their head and talking about it in such a way that they might have their beliefs shaken a little bit, or maybe consider it more heavily later. Because I think with a lot of people, they won't change their mind about something they hold so dearly in a conversation at that given point in time, but later on they might reconsider what they think.
Another good heuristic is to have the Socrates, like, I know nothing, I'm unwise, like you're just going into it being in that frame of mind where I'm basically wrong. Please teach me how we could know about this.
That's kind of what you do here, right?
Yeah,
no, that's cool. I like that approach. You're kind of like in ancient Greece, you'd have Socrates at the town square. You're kind of like the town philosopher for UCLA. That honestly sounds like the life, man.
I love it. The Bruin Walk philosopher.
Yeah, exactly.
All about that.
You should wear a robe.
I should, or a toga or something. Grow out a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's what we're trying to do. Got another guy in the chat, Being Reasonable, Mark Solomon. He has another SE channel. He's great, great guy.
Cool.
Yeah. I met up with him at Palm Springs like last fall. He's a good guy. We did some SE nearby a Starbucks. That was fun.
Yeah.
That's on his channel. So, want to focus on this question for a bit?
Yeah, let's focus on this.
Yeah. It is like a binary question. So like to the right is P, PQ, or P or not P. God exists. God does not exist. Not sure. Absolutely confident. Absolutely sure. Where's your current confidence about it?
All right. Well, let's define our terms.
Sure.
I like the lowercase g.
Yeah.
That's what I always notice whenever I text with my religious friends. I always do the lowercase g to be a little gadfly,
It is a little gadfly, what's a good definition for a god to work with so far?
Usually what I'm talking about is one of the things that really annoys me is when I argue with religious people, they define God in such an amorphous way that it means whatever they want it to mean. And it's virtually a tautology, and there's no way to disprove it if it means whatever you want it to mean to you. So I'd say the Abrahamic God, where we're talking about an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, maximally beneficent being. I don't know if I'm missing any other properties according to it.
Omnipotent, all-powerful, omnibenevolent, all-loving, all-good. And then the omniscience. Is that the third one? That's the main third one?
Yeah, omniscience.
Omniscience. All-knowing.
Did we get omnipresent in there?
Omnipresent.
No, I don't think.
I can add that.
Yeah, do that. I think that's it.
Like, it would be here right now? If it existed?
It's everywhere, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. That's their definition. So far?
All right.
Yeah, so if a thing that is Abrahamic, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, omniscient, and omnipresent, whatever that thing is, does that thing exist?
If you define it that way,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
Zero.
You're all the way to the left?
Because most things, I would say, I technically, based on the rules of logic, I can't count something out 100%. I could say it's exceedingly improbable. What Richard Dawkins describes it as is it's as unlikely as if there was a bunch of random plane parts in the middle of nowhere and then there was a hurricane and the hurricane just happened to assemble a Boeing 747. That's how unlikely it is without those qualities. But when we define it that way, based on a lot of contradictions, I'd say it's zero because it's logically incoherent. We can just start with it being omnipotent, right? If it's self-defeating to say something is fully omnipotent, because this is what I always ask people: could God create a rock so heavy that he couldn't lift it? And you see, whichever way you answer that, you arrive at the conclusion that it really can't be all powerful that way, because it's not even powerful enough to limit itself. That's another way to say it. If we talk about, it being omnibenevolent, we can obviously talk about all the copious amounts of suffering that we see in the world, and where we see that God does not intervene and God is completely idle and indifferent to the suffering of this. I can go in a lot of tangents and focus really heavily on all these areas, but also if we think about how it's supposed to be omnipotent and or omnipresent and not omniscient, if it can see infinitely into the future, it can't do that and be omnipotent because it has to have the power to change its mind. So you can only really select one of those properties. So there's really a lot of logical contradictions that we have to arrive at if we're going to be consistent that way. So that's just a few paradoxes that prove it's simply logically incoherent.
Logically incoherent, contradictory in nature. So many problems there. Like something can't exist and be contradictory.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's one reason. Any other reasons? What's the reason people give for it?
I mean, everybody's like, oh, so you think there's something that came out of nothing? That's what they say to me. That's kind of one of their main reasons for it. And what I say to that is, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. The difference between me and the religious worldview is I understand that there's things I don't know, but instead I acknowledge the fact that I don't understand it, and we try to approach this through reason, inquiry, and doubt, instead of providing an answer that's merely an illusion and is very unsatisfactory on a logical level. So that's one example. That's called, the cosmological argument. And then another one we often here that is usually used in what I would say is intellectually, or I'd say emotionally exploitative, is the moral argument, where people say, well, if there's no God, then morals are completely subjective, morals are completely relevant, and nothing's really right or wrong. And there's a couple ways to approach this. One, you can talk about just the enormity of suffering that we see around the world, and the fact that God is supposed to be an antidote, yet he doesn't really do anything about it. We can talk about just the crimes committed in the Bible. I mean, we can talk about the genocide of the Amalekites, for example, but there's just so many examples in the Bible where we see it endorsing what's no different from pure evil. And then the other thing, when we say that God is the source of moral goodness, and God is the definition of morality that we have to compare everything to, is something called the Euthyphro dilemma. And basically what it is it's from thousands of years ago, and Plato asks the question, is something good because the gods say it is, or do the gods say it is good because it is good? And whichever way you answer that question, you have to arrive at the inconvenient conclusion for religious people that morality is derived from an independent source. That means that God has to appeal to something else in order to actually define morality. So there's really no utility in God at all when it comes to morality. So I mean, those are a few reasons, but basically my position before, there's more sophisticated arguments like the fine-tuning argument, which we can talk about in depth, but that's really easily answered by evolution. There's the ontological argument, which is kind of more of a philosophically more rigorous argument, but it's not really a strong argument when we consider the contradictions and the fact that we can't even define God. Because basically what the ontological argument is saying is that if God can exist in a possible world, then based on the fact that it's omnipresent, it exists in every possible world, and because of that it does in fact exist. But I already showed that God can't be omnipresent and omnipotent. But basically, before all this, I wouldn't even need to say any of this. The burden of proof is on the person making the principal claim. So basically, what I say and what Christopher Hitchens says is that which can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So I simply have no reason to believe this in the very first place. And I think any God that would design a world in which he made it so difficult to believe in him on the basis of logic and actual material evidence is either really cruel or extremely stupid. And for that reason, I wouldn't even call it God. So that's just a little brief introduction, I guess.
All right, let me recap what I'm hearing. I think I've mapped it out okay. It's like you're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm impressed you kept up.
Yeah, it's the best explanation for a lot of things, like for morality, for the existence of anything, like the universe or life. And one reason against the morality claim is the good outside of God, might exist or could exist. If it does exist outside of God, then it's not the best explanation for morality, for good. That's one reason against that. And the contradictory nature part, the examples of that are, I think you talked about that. It's basically the problem of evil. It can't be all powerful and all good at the same time if there's evil. And it can't be all powerful if it is limited in some way. It can't be all knowing and all powerful if it knows the future but can't change it, because that would be
yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
great. Yeah, we basically covered the main parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much would this weigh, if anything, out of 5 blocks?
I mean, considering that I addressed it.
Yeah, maybe we can break it down into, does any of this weigh anything? The best explanation for the universe, best explanation for life, best explanation for morality. Do any of those reasons weigh anything in this argument?
Given my arguments against it, or in a possible world where my arguments don't exist?
Given your arguments.
All of them, I give 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much would this weigh in the argument? The contradictory in nature?
Of 1 to 5 blocks?
Yeah.
5.
A 5. All right. And so that the ratio is complete weight on the opposite side. No weight. There's no reason on the opposite side that gives any weight.
That's right.
Nothing. Okay.
None. Nada. Zip.
All right.
0.
Any other reasons besides that one? Against it?
Well, I don't know if you could say that I have no reason to believe it is a reason in and of itself.
No reason against it?
Yeah.
Or no reason for it?
Yeah.
That's just saying there's no weight to any of those reasons. There's lots of reasons. There's no reasons with weight. No good reasons.
I mean, I'd say if we look at the development of religion in terms of belief systems, and we compare and analyze the fact that many of the claims made in religion are borrowed from other religions, I think we have to arrive at the conclusion that something funny is going on. And I think the fact that all religions say that in order for that religion to be true, all the other religions have to be wrong, shows that they can't all be right. And I think based on that, the best possible explanation is that they're all wrong.
Yeah.
That way. Yeah.
Religions are man-made, or they're mythology, which is a man-made thing.
Yeah, they are. I forgot the name of it, but there's this very isolated island in the Pacific, and it's called the Myth of John Frum. And basically what happened was, like, in the 1800s, allegedly this guy came. His name was John Frum. He was this white guy wearing all white, and the natives, they really didn't see a European like that before, and they thought he was some type of godly figure. And then they cultivated a whole myth, and then people came back 30 years later, and they had John Frum Airport, they had the Church of John Frum, they had a shrine of John Frum, they had all these myths. They expected John Frum to come back on the Day of Judgment. So I think we see very similar patterns that are powerful and work well based on when we consider human needs, and based on the fact that people want illusions to satisfy things that they're frankly very afraid of or don't understand, i.e. the nature of the universe or what happens when we die.
Yeah, religion meets human psychosocial needs, that type of thing.
Yeah, that too, and I think there's other reasons for it. I think it's a mechanism ideologically of social control. I think the Bible is one of the most sexist, racist and homophobic books ever written.
Yeah. Is that a good reason against it, to think that it's not true? If it's all good.
If it's all good, if you talk about how it's all good, then I think it is, yeah.
What if it's the definition of good?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Basically, we actually kind of got into this last time, but I mean, I base my definition of good on a utilitarian philosophy.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about it before with the moral landscape and how it's based on, stimuli from your brain and the corresponding neurological processes and chemicals, for example, like dopamine, that increase your pleasure and minimize pain. So I think he talks about how there's highs and lows, of the human experience. So, a low would be if I ran into the kitchen back there and I put my hand on a stove. And then, a high would be something he calls, for example, like the good life, where, it's, ice cream sundaes and, golden retrievers, and you're just, totally happy. You're out there playing golf all day. So I think basically when I talk about what is good, it's things that get us closer to what I call the good life, and not necessarily things that get you closer at that moment, but over time will get you closer to there and further from the worst possible suffering.
Yeah, that's your definition of good. The thing that gets us to that good life, gets us closer to it. That's good, more good that way.
Yeah,
in a way
exactly,
that's more
exactly.
bad. That's just how you're defining good and bad.
Yeah, I think that's one of my better attempts at illustrating it.
All right.
Yeah.
Why is that a true definition?
I'd say that it's true because now there's like a whole debate about whether or not moral statements can be true. I'd say it's the best explanation because look at the alternatives, right? That's why I say run to the back and put your hand on the stove, then come back and tell me I'm wrong. Nobody's gonna do it. So that's, as of now, I think that's about the best we can do.
As of now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, I think we've covered a lot. Is there a definition of God that you would be not? Where are you all the way to the left there? Like no room for doubt at all?
My bad. Yeah. There we go.
But you're all the way over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a definition of God where you would be on the scale, not at zero?
I don't know. Give me a definition.
Like a God that's similar to like maybe the Greek gods. It's really powerful, and it's not all good, but it's just really powerful. It's maybe it created the universe. Maybe it doesn't really care about what humans are doing. It just made the universe and peaced out.
So I see, like a deist God.
Yeah.
I don't think I would believe in that because I don't buy the cosmological argument.
Okay.
Still.
It's still not the best explanation for that.
Yeah.
Could it be one candidate hypothesis?
What do you mean?
Just one potential explanation left on the table, just as maybe a backup?
No.
Not at all?
No. Zip.
It should just be wiped off the table?
Yeah.
All right. Could a God do anything to make you increase your confidence that it's real? If it did exist?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I used to tell my friends, hey, like have him do something for me. I'm like, God, if you're watching me right now,
yeah,
God probably wouldn't watch your show.
Probably.
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
But I'm thinking of a 10-digit number in my head right now. If you could just, say it to me, for example, I mean, that would be great. If you could, give me...
You write it down on the Post-it note. I
Yeah.
just think of it.
Yeah,
If it matches,
let's do it. This is a sound scientific experiment
yeah, definitely.
to me.
Just write down some random numbers, and I'll write down. And do we need to pray or anything? Don't let me.
Is anybody in the chat?
Yeah, a few people.
All right. Tell them to type 1 if they want us to pray.
Yeah, in the chat, type 1 if you want us to pray. Have that be part of the experiment. One person said 1.
Actually, sorry, I made it too easy.
You made it too easy.
Yeah. God has to do better than this. But I don't know. He could maybe give me some financial aid.
Yeah, just some random money show up in your account or something.
Yeah, reduce my parents' mortgage.
Yeah. So you've got 10 digits there?
Actually, I have 11 digits.
That works too.
That's cool?
Yeah.
All right.
And if God is real, I should like try to recite it to you, and if it matches, that's a prediction that helps us with this hypothesis.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I can just. Is it like I have to get them all in order, or I just have? Yeah, it's like a lottery thing.
Oh no, you got to get it in order. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My first guess is 5.
As the first digit?
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
No. Okay.
Well, I guess we.
I guess it's off. I guess it's off the table.
Off
Yeah.
the table. What about in the chat? Jake says, yeah, put in the chat, put in your guesses for the first number in the chat. Jake says 0.
No, Jake is wrong.
Jake's wrong.
No.
Nobody else is chatting. Oh well. Oh, 7.
No. No.
Damn.
Wow.
Well, all right, well.
Is there a bunch of heathens in your chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that test did not confirm it.
Yeah.
We failed to falsify.
It's too bad.
Or we falsified that
Yep.
one test. All right. Any other tests that, if happened, if it successfully happened, would do it?
I don't know. Are there any tests you can think of?
My friend has another YouTube channel, and he has one test he likes to call the First Kings 18 test. It's like taking a piece of wood or like paper. He has like a tissue or something, piece of paper, and he puts it in water.
Yeah.
And then he prays to God to light the water-soaked napkin on fire, and that's an allusion to the story in the Old Testament, I think, about like a bunch of the tribes are trying to test God, and it's like they have their god Baal, so they have an ox that they want to cook, and they have a bunch of wood. And the Jews also have the same thing, and they're saying, we'll just pray and we'll have the God light up the water-soaked wood. And they prayed to God in the Old Testament, and he did light the water-soaked wood. That's how they know that God was real.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Why did God do that for them?
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah,
Can we get some of that?
He did that for them. I guess he just got tired of performing miracles.
Just got tired?
Yeah, he just got tired of it, It's up to more. It's up, Steven.
Like, that would do it for me. If we could consistently try to do that. If we wanted to have a barbecue.
Yeah, no, that sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
A little atheist barbecue.
Yeah. Or we'd be theists if that happened.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I'd grill with some theists.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, most of my friends are theists.
Yeah.
What about you? Are most people like in this community? I feel like there's a lot of atheists
most
out
of
here.
them are atheists, yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to spread it out, make it more general, but it's still mostly atheist, yeah. Definitely.
Do you know any sophisticated Christians?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm always trying to find the sophisticated Christians
Yeah.
because they are out there, and it's more enjoyable for me, you know.
It is. Yeah, and it would be nice if I'm not trying to strawman them. I think we've done an okay job. I'm sure that we could have, if we had someone sophisticated that could get into the minutia of these arguments. But yeah, I do like to hear from the people who actually believe whatever. But you were against it, and this is your reasons why. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I, that's how it works.
Yeah. You know, it would be a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
It's just a random thought, but I think people might enjoy it if you like it. I think it's cool to kind of do the Socratic method like you're doing out here, but another idea is to have, find, I don't know if how likely it would be, but it would be to find one person that believes in something and one person that doesn't, or one person that's pro and one person that's con. It could be any issue, and have one person on one side and the other person on the other side, and hash it out that way.
I've got plans for that type of thing for my channel. I've got a game show thing of that very idea. It's like I've already posted like a Google form poll with like 10 claims, and people can give their confidence of like strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like already 50 people answering all of these claims, and then I'm gonna invite the agree and strongly agree people to meet together and to find their top 3 reasons for their position, and also the top 3 reasons against their position.
Okay, can I do this?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. No, this sounds fun.
It's a pinned tweet on my Twitter.
Okay.
And then I do it with the opposite side, the disagree side. They meet, find their top 3 positions for their case and top 3 reasons against their case.
Mm-hmm.
They never talk to each other. But then a third team, the people who are neutral, they meet together and they judge to see if the teams could match each other's case. Like, did they match the other side's reasons for them and against them?
Mm-hmm.
And if they match it well, they get points. If they have better reasons than the opposite side, they get points.
I see.
If they only have straw man reasons, then they get points reduced, reducted.
Gotcha.
It's called Steal or Straw, the game show. It's still in the works, but that's the plan.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I'm down to do that. My friends probably would be too.
Yeah.
We my friends and I, we get in some intense discussions.
Yeah, definitely.
But
it's
yeah,
my pinned tweet at the moment. I'm gonna
the cordial curiosity. Is it just cordial curiosity on Twitter?
It's actually you can't fit on Twitter that whole thing, so it's cordial curious. And
Okay.
I have new cards at the back here
Okay, let me take one.
with a link tree QR code
Mm-hmm.
with my Twitter on it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And unfortunately, I'm not going to be here for like half a year
Oh no!
after today.
What are you doing?
I'm
What are
going
you
to
up
be
to?
going back to Florida for the holidays, and I'm probably just going to stay there for 3 months while the roof on my building is being reconstructed. I live on the top floor,
Okay.
so it's going to be very loud in like the next few days for the next 6 months or so, at least 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hang out.
Do
back at home.
you do this out here in Florida too?
I may bring my stuff because I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
You should.
Yep.
You should do some of this with the Florida man.
The
Florida man, yeah.
That is a good one to do. Yeah.
That sounds exciting, actually. I'm thinking about it. When you go to Florida, you have your Florida men, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your Cuban exile population.
Yeah.
You have your Gasanos. So that sounds spicy
Very spicy.
to me.
Love that. And next year I may, at the end of the summer, do like a national tour. Just go around to different places, different cities.
I like that, yeah.
Meet up with different SE fans and enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool,
That'd
yeah.
be a lot of fun.
I'm I write articles, but my friend and I we're trying to start a little YouTube channel up,
Nice.
or do something like that, mostly about news and politics. But it's not too dissimilar from your project going on over here.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, there's also the SE Discord on that QR code, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe
Cool.
maybe it's on the QR code on the back of that card. Tons of people will always be welcome to chat with you there.
Oh, for sure, for
There's
sure.
always people wanting to chat with people.
Yeah. Sky.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Thank you, Reed. I appreciate that,
Thank
buddy.
you,
Yeah.
it's
Happy to do this.
Very nice to meet you.
You're gonna be back here in like half a year or what?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you.